You're watching Let the Quran Speak. A casino in Toronto. There has been much debate in Toronto recently about a possible casino being built in the city. Individuals with religious commitments have much to contribute to this debate, and now we look at whether or not casinos are a good idea from an Islamic point of view. With me is Dr. Shabir Ali, president of the Islamic Information Center. Dr. Shabir, I guess the interest in the casino is the idea that it will bring in much revenue for the city, which the city can use on different programs that it might want to implement. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, with every sort of business proposal, we must look at a number of important factors. Profit is not the only issue. Graham Tucker, Reverend Graham Tucker of the Canadian Centre for Ethics and Business, proposes that any sort of business venture would need to be evaluated based on 5 characteristics. 1, is it profitable, to be sure? 2, is it legal? 3, is it fair in a social manner? Mm-hmm. 4, is it right? Like on a personal level, do you feel that this is right? You can see that this is something that is good to do. Mm-hmm. And finally, we have to think about its impact on its environment, its surroundings. First of all, profitable, yes, we can see that it is profitable, and this is why sometimes even religious organizations, they have the bingo going on or something like this. Mm-hmm. People are basically coming in there gambling, but this is the way of extracting money from people, even for good causes. On the other hand, religion should actually emphasize charitable giving, so that people do not give the money because they lost it. They give the money because out of the kindness of their hearts they want to give to mm-hmm. help other people. So definitely you will get some profits from this, but that's only the first question. Yes, it's profitable. What about legal? Well, then you have to make it legal. Okay, so now it's legal. But is it fair at the social level? Is it really fair that we have this system in which some people go and they lose their life savings, some people go and whatever they lose, they come away regretting, and we benefit from the fact that other people are regretting?
But some might say, well, this is their choice. They decided to do this.
But we are setting
and they're
up...
enjoying it, perhaps, as they do it.
Maybe they are, but maybe they are not. Maybe they're drawn into it. Perhaps they're addicted. And we know that gambling is a problem for many people. Sometimes people go into it thinking that they feel lucky. And sometimes you're just checking your email and something pops up. Are you feeling lucky today? Mm-hmm. So you're being invited to gamble somewhere. Mm-hmm. So just on the feeling that maybe I'm lucky today, I'll win. So we're playing on people's greed, hoping that they will feel greedy, they will feel lucky, they will think that they'll win, and then they will end up losing. We get the take from that. And it's only the people who are planning this to do this on a commercial level that really profit from it. It's not the individuals. Some individuals may win some of the time, but most individuals lose most of the time. Mm-hmm. And that's how...
So what you're saying is that the city would be facilitating something that is negative, that is playing on the weaknesses of people.
Yes, when we say, okay, this profit will be good, we can fund our subway expansion based on this. Do I really want to ride on a subway knowing that I'm really riding on the backs of people who have lost their hard-earned money in a system that we are creating for them to lose their money so we can gain it, so that we can fund our subway expansion? I'd rather have no subway expansion than to have people killing themselves over the loss of their lifelong earnings. Sometimes people sell their houses because people get trapped into this. Somebody's gambling and he's on a losing streak, and he gets this false idea that if he goes to the ATM and draws some more money and comes back, well, then at some point he must win. Mm-hmm. But
his luck will turn.
His luck may turn. Mm-hmm. But on a large sampling, the laws of probability show that if you lose some of the time, you will win some of the time. But the sampling has to be so large, it may not even be within your own lifetime. In your own lifetime, you could be losing all the way down, poor you. And someone may win and while you're losing. But each roll of the dice is independent. And so the fact that you lost on so many rolls doesn't mean you're going to win on the next one, or the next one, or the next one. It could be that you're losing all the way down. And only on a large sampling of the rolling of dice will the probability come out even, that it rolls 1/6 of the time, and it rolls 1/6 of the time as well. But for your experience, especially on a particular night, you could be losing all the way, buddy. You have to be you have to be aware of that. But people are not aware of that, and they get drawn in. So
do you think people should never gamble then?
Well, of course, as a religious teaching, we are told not to gamble at all. The Quran in Surah 5, verse 90, says that gambling is one of the handiworks of Satan. This is one of the things that he uses to cause people to be apart from each other and to be at odds with each other. And he uses this to distract people from the remembrance of God. At the practical level, some people who do not find within their religious teachings anything against gambling may say, well, what's it to me? If you gamble once, you have a little bit of fun, and you lose a little, it doesn't matter. You enjoyed it while you are playing. But that can only work if you set some reasonable limits and say, okay, I can afford to lose this much tonight, and that's it. Once I lose that, I'm not going any further than that. There's no sense in trying to win that loss back, because you end up often losing more.
Spending more.
But on the whole, this is what people do. They lose much more than they expected, and it passes from being an ordinary, childish, simple fun to very serious losses. And because this happens so much, we have to say, no, on the social level, this is not fair. And then, is it right? Well, we've already, in a way, dealt with that. It doesn't feel right to me that we should fund our projects based on the losses of other people. And lastly, what about the impact on the environment? If you have a casino, what is this going to do for your city? Some people say it's going to attract more visitors, but it may attract the wrong kind of visitors. On the people that we don't really want. We don't want people to come in because you have something negative going on. We want positive things. We want big, bright, beautiful things, to be sure, but they should stand for good purposes. And we need educational facilities, beautiful things like museums, beautiful attractions and landscapes and so on, to be sure, things which will uplift the human spirit, make people inspired by the awe and beauty of the things which God has created, and which He has inspired us human beings to artistically and creatively produce. And somehow the casino doesn't seem to be one of them.
When I think of casinos and gambling, I think that, to me, I think of greed. There's an element of greed, as in an individual doesn't necessarily think that they can earn that money by, working or whatever, but, they can be lucky somehow, and they can earn a lot of money in one night.
Yes, this is a downside of even the ordinary lottery, where people are hoping. Some people just simply hope that one day they'll win the lottery, and so they keep diligently and continuously buying a number of lottery tickets, and of course they may continually lose. And one person wins $425 million, and then the news of his winning gets broadcast, and people are saying, maybe me one day. And then you buy the ticket with the fear that maybe if you didn't buy the ticket, you're depriving yourself. You might have won, and by not buying the ticket, you're depriving yourself of the chance to win. In fact, I recall that when I used to go to the Stabroek Market in Georgetown in Guyana, there was a man calling out, you have a ticket, you have a chance. You don't have a ticket, you don't have a chance. He was selling the lottery tickets. And so this is the appeal to people, that you need to have that ticket in order to have that chance. Otherwise, you're depriving yourself of that chance. And it is that sense of greed that is being evoked in people. Try to get something for nothing. Try to get something much greater than what you are going to invest here, not by a pure, reasonable effort to help other people. You see, this is where God said in the Quran that He blesses trade. What's unique about trade? If we produce some good that people will use, then surely they pay us a price and we benefit from the price. It could be even a nice, reasonable profit. But at the same time, we are producing something that other people need. We're helping other people. So if you're producing or you're trading in goods or services, you're helping other people to have this sort of enjoyment, not for your own greed. Well, yes, you are going to benefit from it, but there is a trade-off. Whereas in gambling, there is no reasonable trade-off. You start with the greed yourself, and you lure other people in by appealing to their greed.
So no casino in Toronto, ultimately.
Well, obviously, from a religious standpoint, it is not allowed for people of the great world religions, in which gambling is definitely a no-no, to support any such venture. And at the same time, from a reasonable and practical point of view, given Graham Tucker's 5 points for evaluating a business, it doesn't seem like this is a reasonable thing to do.
All right, thank you for that, Brother Shibir.
You're welcome.
We'll take a break. When we return, we answer questions we've received from you, our viewers.